Terry's got it. Okay, Terry.
Just after, you know, a night's, it's for both you guys too, Zach and Evander, just a night after seeing things come to an end, just your thoughts on kind of where the season went and how close you guys were and yet how far you were.
You know, I think we obviously came a long way from, you know, where we were back in January. I think, you know, it was a great opportunity for our group to understand what it takes to get this far and what it takes to get to a cup final. I think, you know, you look at the series, it was a sweep, but, you know, I think 3 of those games we had just to get a chance to win those games as they did. So, you know, that's unfortunate that we're not playing tomorrow night, but I think it's only going to drive this group to be hungrier moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously disappointed. You know, only one team leaves happy. Made it to the Final Four. Obviously, I think given the roller coaster nature of the season is a little bit unorthodox. You know, we added Kaner midway through the year, coaching change, and we were able to kind of stick together. And I think, you know, one thing about this group is it didn't quit. You know, we believed in each other, and I mean, we went on a great run, and you know, faced, you know, probably the best team in the league, right? So, yeah.
Evander, you had 5 months here. What are your feelings now about re-signing with the Oilers, or looking around, or how do you feel it went here?
Yeah, I thought it went really well. Probably even better than I expected, to be honest. So nothing but good things to say on that.
So, Evander, just to follow up on that, are you, I don't know how much you want to share today, but are you leaning one way or the other? Are you already thinking about a decision, or?
Oh, there's so many different variables, guys. I mean, we just finished the season yesterday, and there's lots to sort through and figure out before I start thinking about that.
Okay. And Zach, just for you, I know he's sitting right next to you, so I hope it's not awkward to talk about him, but just sort of what Evander injected and sort of added to the team in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I think you revamped the top 6, obviously. Was able to play kind of with anybody there and have success and score big goals. You know, led the playoffs in goals to date right now. You know, just a huge part of our team. So, you know, just a massive addition.
Guys, just over here. I know you guys have both played in other markets that have been pretty crazy and really rallied behind their teams. What was it like to experience, you know, the way the Edmonton fans supported you guys and just the vibe that was created in the city? I'm sure there was places you couldn't go without having someone say, you know, great job, or really proud of what you guys are doing, and just the smiles that you guys put on the fans' faces.
Yeah, it was, you know, it's awesome. Loudest rink I've played in for sure, and just an incredible fan base that's, like you said, so supportive. You know, people are here just nice. They're just polite, and they're just happy to you know, have you on their team and to be fans. And it's you know, it's awesome. It's amazing playing in front of fans like that.
Zach over here. Yeah, Evander touched on it a bit earlier about, you know, learning about going deep in the playoffs, and just what sort of an impact does a run like this have on an organization, whether it's on your young players or even veterans who haven't been that far before? Like, how valuable was this experience for the Oilers?
Yeah, it's valuable. I mean, I think it's only an impact if you progress on it, if you build on it and you take a step forward, right? So, but experience for everybody. I mean, I think it was a lot of our first times in the Western Conference Final, and we have a really good core, and then we have a lot of really, really good young players. And for those young guys to experience that type of run and that playoff environment and scoring big goals and contributing, you know, I think that's invaluable. And those are the guys who are going to take a step and, you know, over the summer and make our team even better.
Everybody thinks they have it, but until you see it, you never know for sure. But that intestinal fortitude that it takes to go 3 rounds deep in the Stanley Cup final, how reassuring was it to see that all of the key guys on this team brought that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's, you know, you have to, your big guys have to do well in order for you to have success in the playoffs. I think that's key, and I touched on it before, but I think our ability to face adversity and push through that, like we were on the brink against LA, and if that series goes the other way, we're having a different conversation about the season, right? So I think just our self-belief and our ability to push back was something that I think we can build off of and hopefully carry into next year.
Zach, I know it was a tough decision to leave Toronto and find a new home. You know, as you sit here today at the end of the season, how do you feel about that decision today?
I mean, I thought it was going to be a good fit when I decided to come here, but it's been kind of everything and more, and just honestly one of the best decisions I've made in my life to come here and play with these guys. And everybody just been so welcoming. The city talked about the fans a little bit and the players, and you know, making not just me feel comfortable, but my family feel comfortable, my wife, my son, and just really happy to be here for a long time.
Evander, I know we put you to a bad spot when we ask you about this. I get it. The fan base here, you're the guy everyone's talking about, right? Like Zach's here for a long time. David Draisaitl or sign. You're the guy everyone wants to know what you're thinking. Can you maybe just let us in a little on the decision? Like, would it, you know, on one hand you got the best player in the world as your sentiment. On the other hand, you got a whole league that may want to sign you in other places. Can you just take us a little bit down the road without committing anywhere?
I mean, I'll go back to, you know, when I was in a similar but very different situation a few months ago, where I had the opportunity to kind of pick where I wanted to go, and Edmonton was interested in me, and I was interested in them. And you know, the way I looked at it is, you got two of the best players in the world. You got a team that you know, wants to win now and is primed to win now. And you know, I think me joining it has a great opportunity to win. I'm happy to say that, you know, we had some success doing that, and I think moving forward, obviously there's a lot of things that factor into a decision. I've been very happy with my time here. The fans have been phenomenal. The people in the city have been phenomenal. This has got to be the best organization I've played for. So I have no complaints, and you know, just like everybody else, I'm sure, is looking forward to seeing what happens.
That will be part of your exit interview with Ken Holland, I assume.
I let my agent Dan Milstein handle all those cocks, but I'm sure me and Kenny will talk a little bit about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, Zach. Before Tampa went on its run, they had some disappointment losing in the playoffs, and they kind of learned from that. Same thing with Colorado. They had some disappointments in the playoffs and losing from that. Do you feel that this core is kind of similar in that way, that you know, you may have a disappointment here or two in the playoffs, but you have the core to get to that next step, to be that championship contender?
Yeah, I think we do. I think the unique thing about hockey is the margins are so thin. You know, the bounces in games, you know, you separate things from inches. In game 3, we hit the post, they come down and they score, right? So I think if you want a chance to win, you have to put yourself in a position to have a chance every year. And I think that those teams, Tampa, Colorado, you know, they've continually put themselves in good positions, whether, you know, they get home ice early. Colorado won the President's Trophy last year. They came, you know, second in the league this year, and you know, they've learned how hard it is to win, and how you can't take anything for granted. You can't give a team a chance. You got to put them down. Like, I think if we would have won last game, you know, we had the momentum, we have a chance, but they were able to battle back in that game and you know, win and put us out. So I think you can take things from that, and you can take things from Tampa. But again, you have to put yourself, and you have to do it over and over again, and you can't be satisfied with, you know, making the Final Four. You have to be just as hungry and, you know, go above and beyond to give yourself a chance every year.
Zach, can I just ask you how close you were to getting your knee badly hurt on that collision with Nate McKinnon in the middle of the ice? It looked like it was knee on knee.
Yeah, It was, luckily it wasn't my knee, it was my quad. It was a Charlie horse. So I guess it was lucky. I saw the replay after, it looked worse than it was. But obviously just being cautious getting up and, yeah, I mean, I'm all good.
Zach, last night, Connor said that it was basically, to paraphrase him, a small step forward, not a large leap. How do you perceive how close you are and how far you are away today?
I mean, it's a tough question until you win. If you win, then people are going to say, oh, this run is, was the reason that they got close. And if you don't win, then it's, all for naught, right? So I think time will tell. But I think that playing this far, for a lot of us, it's the furthest we've gone. And getting a taste of how, the Final Four, Western Conference Finals and whatnot, I think that, can only help. And I think that, like I said, we're not, and I'm sure Connor said it last night, we're not satisfied with the Final Four, and I'm sure that's why he said it's a small step forward. And it's only a step forward if we, progress on it and we build on it and we come out next year and give ourselves another chance at it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Vander Kane was just out here. I'm sure you know, we asked him some questions about his future. Do you want to try to have a sales conversation with him, or what's that relationship? No.
Well, first of all, I think, we're very happy with how he came to our team, what he brought to our team, obviously, on the ice, but off the ice, he was amazing. He was a great team guy, put the team first, helped our team in a big way. So, yeah, I think we'd love to have him back. I can't say more than that. It's not in my hands from now on, obviously, but yeah, he's helped our team big time.
Leon, can you define your injury? Was it a high ankle sprain, as some people said, or was there more than one injury?
I'm sure everyone, or a lot of people, saw the video, saw the clip, what happened. I'm sure you can figure out what type of injury it was by watching the clip.
Okay, last night Connor said, sitting beside you, that he thought it was a step, but basically, to paraphrase him, it wasn't a large leap. How do you see it this season? And how close are you and how far away are you?
Well, I think that we did take a step this season, but we also took a step in 2017 and we missed the playoffs the next season, right? And that shows you how hard it is in this league to do it consistently year after year. it's a hard league, and the playoffs are even harder and tougher. So we have to make sure that we come in next season and learn from what we've accomplished this season, but come back next season and be hungry for more, right? We want to take that next step. We want to get to the finals. Eventually, we want to win a Stanley Cup. So I think we did take a step, but there's definitely more.
Evan, I'm just wondering what this whole experience has been like for you and how valuable it was this early in your career to go on a 3-round playoff run.
Experience is great for me. To be a part of a run like this is special. It shows you what it takes to get to this level, but it shows there's, you got to put more into it to get to the finals and to win it. It's going to take a lot more, but to get this experience is great for me and I think great for everyone else.
Are you guys a better player for it? You, McLeod, and a lot of the younger guys on this team, are you better for this? Is the team better for this?
I think so, yeah. I think all the experience you can get is great experience. I think that's what you're going to need down the road.
That's it?
Nope. Just kidding. Since you're wearing an Evander Kane hat,
good one, Spec.
Without getting into signing that player or not signing him, I get that it's not your jurisdiction. The game that he brings, it's a playoff game, right? He's a power forward. He plays hard. He's the opposite of soft skill. He's hard skill. Whether it be that player or other players like that, is that a crucial element to taking this team where it needs to go?
Absolutely. I think guys like that are rare. I don't know, what did he score, 13 goals in the playoffs? By playing hard, by doing it the right way. Those guys are hard to come by, right? So those are the guys that you can go on runs with, and those are the type of guys that you're going to win with eventually. So again, like I said before, he was great. He was amazing off the ice. He was a great teammate. Obviously on the ice, he had a great year. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
Leon, after 2017, everybody thought this team was ready to take that next step, and there were 2 tough years after that. How much better prepared do you think the group is now? Yourself, Connor, you guys are 5 years older now, to make sure that doesn't happen again like it did in 2017.
Yeah, I think like you said, we're growing up, right? Or we have grown up from that point. We were young. Maybe at the time we thought that, getting there to Game 7 in the second round is, it's an automatic every season, right? That's not the case, clearly. We learned that the hard way, but we learned from that the hard way, and now obviously guys like Boucher, Clowder, they're gonna know what it takes to get back into the playoffs next season, and yeah, you learn from it. Sometimes it's the hard way, like I said. We did have to learn it the hard way, but we're gonna be prepared next season for it to be hard, and we're gonna be ready for it.
Evan, what did you learn most from Duncan Keith, and is it different when a player is telling you how to play as opposed to a coach is telling you how to play defense?
Well, it's a little different when you get someone like Dunks who's kind of been through it all. He knows what he's doing. He knows the style of play he wants to play, and the more you listen, the more you can take in, the better it's going to make you, and the better it's going to make the pairing, and the better the pairing does, it helps the team. So, like I said, the more you can listen to him, pick his brain a little bit, it's going to help you out.
One more for Leon. This team has always been known for its skill and its talent and all that stuff. But in these playoffs, you guys showed your mettle and your grit and your toughness and all the things that it takes to, as far as you did. How reassuring is it for your group to see that you have that, and how important is that moving forward for a playoff team?
Yeah, I think we showed that this season, that there's a lot of heart in our group, a lot of no quit mentality. I think, even in that regard, there's still another step that we can take, and a lot of things that we can learn still and be better at when we do get to that point. But I'm really proud of our team, the way we've handled everything this season. At times it wasn't easy, it wasn't perfect, but I thought we battled all season, we stuck together all season. And at the end of the day, that's most important. We knew that we had it in the group, and just proud of the guys. It was a good step, but like I said before, obviously we're looking to take that next step.
And Leon, just back here, you've been asked kind of a variation on this question, so I apologize, but I want to ask it this way. Just that you have a lot of guys, your core, that's under contract for a few more years, and now that you've kind of reached this point, do you feel like you have a nice window here? The window is open for you guys to really do some damage.
Yeah, of course. Obviously we have guys under contract that have been here for a long time, that been through everything that we've been through, and we're ready to win. We want to win. We got young guys like Bushi, Clouder, Holly coming up that are pushing for spots, and they're ready to make an impact, or they did have an impact. And that's what's going to make us a really, really good hockey team, right? Guys that are coming up and pushing for lineup spots. So we're ready to win. We want to win. We want to do the right things to win. So, obviously it's important to have a good summer for everyone and get back into it next season.
Tonight you said that it wasn't a big step. Obviously, not a giant leap then, but having had a night to sleep on it, how close do you think you guys are and how far away?
Haven't got much sleep, but I haven't really thought about it, I wish I could give you more of an answer to that question. But obviously it's still really fresh, and not a lot of time has gone by, but obviously it was a step in the right direction. I definitely firmly believe that. But that's all it was.
Well, and what about defining lessons learned and putting them into practice going forward? What would be some of the things you identified that game ones would happen in game, 4 and 5 against LA, those sorts of things, that you can come back and take advantage of the fact you've been through them?
Yeah, those lessons only really matter if you put yourself back in those situations. So obviously that's our focus, is to put ourselves back in that position, and use the lessons that we learned throughout our little run here, and put those to good work next year.
Duncan, just in the back, I just wonder if there are any comparisons that you see in this team to the one, maybe in 2009, that you had with Chicago that made a deep run before ultimately getting the job done. Do you see this team as kind of one on the rise, like that Chicago team?
Well, I think, both those, we had a season early on where we went to the conference finals and we lost, I think, 5 games. But, there's lots of things you can compare, but at the end of the day, I think there was a lot of growth this year with the team, and, as a team and as individuals. So I think that sets it up for a good season next year. Just like Connor said, we gained a lot of experience here in playoffs, but all throughout the season, really. And try to take that into into next season and execute, in the moment.
Connor, just over here. Just want to ask you about, obviously the playoffs are a battle of attrition, and you had Darnell playing on one hip, you had Leon playing on one foot. Can you just maybe speak to just the gutsiness and courage of those guys that just keep coming out, when they're not 100%? And I'm sure there's a bunch of guys in that room that are hurting right now.
Yeah, those two guys especially. It was cool to see and cool to watch them go through that. It's obviously not easy, but it was as their teammate, it was inspiring to see them go out there and perform. Being well less than 100% and perform it the way they did. It was really cool to see. And obviously in the playoffs, it takes those types of efforts, and obviously those two guys in particular, and a lot of guys on our lineup. To see how they battled through those things, it was cool to watch.
Okay, just for Duncan, coming here, coming to a new team after spending so much time somewhere else, I'm just wondering what it was like for you, the experience compared to how you thought it was going to go. What did you take out of a season in Edmonton? Yeah,
I thought it was, better than I ever could have imagined, really. There's a lot of firsts for myself, going to a new team, getting traded, and, living in a new city, and obviously a different team and, lots of different things. But at the end of the day, a lot of great memories from this past season. Getting to play with the best player in the world, Connor, right here, sit up here next to him, and just to see, how he goes about his business, and same with Leon as well. Just to be around that, and it makes you a better player. And I think as players, you're in the NHL and you want to keep getting better. So. I think as a team we pushed one another, and that's what kind of makes the year special. Not the way we wanted it to end, but like I said earlier, there's a lot of growth.
So you've been on teams that where you've seen the team had a core that had that intestinal fortitude to go all the way. Are you seeing some of that same stuff here with the way Darnell and Leon and Connor pressed through?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of those same characteristics. I don't think you get as good as these guys are without having, heart and determination. And Connor showed that, the whole season. And so did Leon and on all the top guys. We won the first 10 games of the season, and I don't really necessarily think we were playing that great of a team game. And you look at how we were winning games by the end of the season, and it was a lot of the same guys doing a lot of the damage, but it was a full team effort by the end of the year.
Connor, excuse me, Evander Kane, I get it. It's not your place to go sign in UFAs here this summer. I understand that. But maybe could you just tell us, not every winger that jumped in on your wing fits so well with you. And not every guy brings that hard skill, right? He plays hard, he's tough, he scores, he's a playoff player all year long. Do you need, I'm not asking you to say you need to sign the guy, but is that the kind of guy that's going to help you win, whoever he is?
Yeah, Kaner came in and did everything that was asked of him, that's for sure. Like you said, it's not on my place. I don't sign the contracts and stuff like that. But obviously Kaner, like I said, came in and played great and did everything that was asked of him and then some. And you saw how he performed in the playoffs, and those are the type of guys that you need. So, yeah.
Duncan, can you talk to how much Evan Bouchard improved over the season, and you had him as a partner for a long time, and where do you see him going, and where's his ceiling?
I don't know. I know that when I played with him, I guess it was probably halfway through the year, I immediately thought that he was a smart player and he was easy to play with, easy to make reads off of. You know, try to get him the puck a lot to get his shot off, and I think everybody knows how hard his shot is. So, you know, it's tough as a young guy. You're coming in the league, and there's a lot of good players, and the main thing you probably try to focus on is being good defensively. And you know, he's already got his offensive game, you know, going pretty well, and that's only going to get better as he goes along here. So, you know, nothing but great things to say about Evan and you know, the year that he had and his future here in Edmonton with the team.
One last one on Mike Smith, who's 40 years old. What do you see from him? I mean, what you see on the ice is pretty much the way he is, battler.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, played against him for all those years, and I remember they beat us when he went on that run in Phoenix, and you know, he was a major reason why you know, they were able to go that far. And you know, I guess as a defenseman, when you have Smitty back there, it's just a nice feeling knowing how well he plays the puck and how well he moves it, and how many times he kills plays by just getting the puck out of the zone and making an easy pass. It's you know, it saves the defenseman going back all the time trying to break it out themselves. And you know, those things, you know, it's competitive nature. You probably don't play to be 40 years old without being competitive, and it's just you know, enjoyed being around him as a teammate.
Sorry, Duncan. I just wonder what this year meant to you, and you know, we know why you were interested in coming here to be closer to your son, and what that was like to after a couple of kind of tougher years in Chicago with the pandemic and whatnot, to be able to spend those moments with him.
Yeah, it was. You know, he was able to experience a lot of cool moments this past year, and you know, there's too many to count. So, you know, it was nice to be able to see him more, and you know, I think all the guys, there's such a family atmosphere here with the organization, where, you know, not just my son, but Smitty's, you know, children and Derek Ryan's and tourists, everybody's around. So it's a pretty neat and special atmosphere, I think, especially as an older guy now. You know, having a son and having them, you know, be a part of it. It's memories that they're gonna take with them, and it means a lot to us older guys. And I know Connor probably gets tired of signing autographs, but you know, the guys were great. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, both are, yeah. I saw
Hey, over here. I'm just wondering what this this playoff experience was, what it meant to you, how valuable it was, and how enjoyable was it to not only be a part of it, but to show that you can actually deliver in a situation like this?
Yeah, I think it was huge. It was a lot of fun, a lot of, I think, good experience for us and a bunch of the young guys to kind of get our feet wet in the playoffs and kind of see as a group, how much further we have to go to kind of be a contender every year. So I think it's very exciting, the group we have and the success we had so far. So it's a good success we had.
Important for you guys to actually, everybody believes that, but it's important to see yourselves do it and to see that you are able to thrive in that environment.
Yeah, for sure. I think even the last couple of years, they've had good teams and kind of came up short in the playoffs. I think this is a good step forward for the group. As we're saying in the room, it's only really a step forward though if we continue going to this step or further in the next couple of years.
Ryan, can you give me a thought on, you see Darnell playing on one hip, you see Leon playing on one foot. I guess, what does that do as a young guy wanting to get into that spot, seeing what these guys are going through just to get out there and trying to play?
Yeah, I mean, they're both warriors. They're both, two of our best players. It's kind of crazy, in the playoffs, those guys have been in the league for, a while now. They're still young guys, but they've been there for a while now. And it's just crazy, the amount of pain or the energy that they'll play through to kind of, help the team out. So it's really motivating to kind of, you want to play well for them because you know how much they're battling and, how bad they want to win too because they've been here for a while. And, haven't had too much success in the playoffs. So, we're kind of, pushing for those guys too. It's we have a fun group. We have a really motivated group, so it should be good.
Can you describe your journey emerging as a player where you're just trying to fit in to by the end of the playoffs here where you were a legitimate, top 9 forward, really contributing?
Yeah, I think, coming in, it's a hard league. It's the hardest league in the world. It was a lot of fun, coming in, being a young guy. Obviously, I had a lot to learn at the start. I think, I kind of, first half of the year, kind of just getting my feet wet, learning the ropes. And then I think kind of took some steps in the second half, and I think in playoffs too. So it's, it's good. It's motivating for the summer. I got a lot to work on, got a lot to, solidify for next year. I'm really motivated.
Just to follow that up, Ryan, I think a lot of people might forget that you actually went down to the minors early in the year. How did that experience kind of shape your season? What did it do for you?
Yeah, I think just made me more motivated. I think, going down there, obviously, wanted to get back up here. And, once I did, I kind of, maybe I was, a little bit more hungry to kind of stay up here, prove myself. So I think it kind of, honestly, I think it kind of helped me a bit to be more motivated to improve my game and kind of solidify my role up here.
Did you notice things really changed for you when Jay came? Just because you guys have such a long-standing relationship, some of the things that he's been harping on you to do in Bakersfield seem to really kind of come to the fore here in Edmonton over the last couple of months.
Yeah, I think he knows my gameplay better than anyone. I've been with him for 3 years now, so it's been good having him here. Obviously he's helped my game a lot, so it's been a lot of fun to play for him and. It's been good. I think, I've been taking, big steps under him, so it's good.
When you play against a team like Colorado that skates as well as your team does, and you see guys like McKinnon and that, does a player like you say there's skill and then there's hard skill, because they're going into areas where it's uncomfortable too? Is that something that you learned in this playoff?
For sure. I think, they were kind of a team who was in, our position not too long ago. They've, been like the favorites to, win it the last couple of years, and they've kind of, came up short in the playoffs. So, obviously they're, figuring out a new way to win, and, it was a lot of fun to play against them. They're, one of the best teams. So it's kind of motivating to see, how much or what you got to change in your game to kind of get to their level. So it's been fun to play against them.
And how often were you watching Leon? It looked like Leon, when he was skating up the ice, was fine. But whenever he got bumped or something, he was having trouble getting back to his feet. We noticed it. Could you notice it as a player?
Yeah, he's a warrior. I mean, he's battling through, a tough ankle injury. Obviously you don't want to see anyone hurt, but, I think he was doing fantastic for us on what he could. He was, driver of the bus, the whole season in the playoffs. So it's really motivating and, kind of made everyone push a little bit harder, knowing how much he was battling every night.
Thank you.
Ryan, just over here in the middle, you talked about a lot of new experiences, especially in these playoffs. I mean, the third round, that's quite the accomplishment. But on a personal level, and sorry to put you on the spot, what's the biggest thing you learned about yourself?
I think just that I could play at this level. Kind of the first half of the year, I was more just trying to stay around, but I think I could, make an impact here and kind of solidify myself as like a good role player. Obviously going to the third round, is a huge accomplishment for this team. It's a big step forward, but I think everyone's, super hungry to kind of, push past the third round next year, or, everyone's really hungry just to keep moving forward and putting steps together.
Is the white paint returning on the tape next season?
We'll see. It's going to be a long summer. Maybe we'll change it up. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Have a good summer.
Can you just reflect on your season and where you want to go from here? I mean, obviously you got 1 year left on your contract, and you played every playoff game as a starter. So what are you feeling?
Yeah, obviously I mean, looking back on it, in the brief time I've had to decompress, I guess. Challenging at times, some good things, obviously, but a grind of a season. Obviously, fun to make the playoffs and go on a run like we did, but you know, playing through injuries for the majority of the season is not easy, and I don't know where I'm going to be 4 months from now, but got a lot of, obviously, stuff to deal with.
So how difficult is it to play? I mean, a goalie wants to play all the games. You played 16 games in about 35 days. That's a lot of games. How much pressure is that on a goalie when you're the guy being trotted out every game?
I mean, I think that's why you play, to be honest, is you want to be that guy, and I've enjoyed the ride for sure. It's been a heck of a ride. There's been ups and downs, obviously there is every year, but it's an emotional and physical, mental grind. It is, and I was just telling some of the guys, like, the letdown today is real life. Like, it's when you're in it, you're so focused. You're trying to drown out all the excess noise and distractions to give yourself the best chance to play at a high level, and as a goalie, give your team a chance to win hockey games. And when you come up short, obviously it's very disappointing, especially as you get older and you realize your chances are getting narrower and narrower to accomplish that ultimate goal. And like I said, there's definitely an empty feeling today for sure.
Thank you.
So, with Woodcroft, what was the impact that he had on this team? Were you guys headed down this road anyway, or did his arrival was a market correction that got you to this place?
I mean, I've said it all along. I think he painted a picture for a group that allowed us to really excel and play up to our potential. And I thought he did an unbelievable job to, like I said, to give us a plan that it was on the players to go execute it. And I think that's all you can ask from a coach. And he took us from being out of the playoffs to a playoff team to being one of the last 4 teams playing in the NHL this year. He deserves a ton of credit for sure.
Mike, just sorry, right beside Rob at the back here. You just said you're not sure where you're going to be in 4 months, and I know there was a report today saying that you were or are considering retirement. Is that true? What do you think about that?
I don't know where that came from, so I don't know. It's too early to tell, but that's media, I guess, for you.
What would go into you do have another year on your contract, and you played pretty well down the stretch when you were healthy, right? And getting to this point, do you feel like there's that kind of that fire? You're so close to potentially winning a cup. Is that kind of play into things here? Yeah.
I think it's been said before, but it's just to look ahead now after you just get ousted out of the conference finals. It's hard to see where you're going to be in the next 2 days, let alone 4 months from now. So I think there's a lot of things to deal with mentally and physically, and that doesn't have to be decided in the next 3 minutes.
Mike, how difficult was it to play a team like Colorado with all their offensive power, not just at forward with Makar on defense?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, an unbelievable team that did just come at you in waves with a lot of different players, and they can burn you when you give them opportunities to. They're a team that you can only fend off for so long if you give them the opportunities to capitalize and burn you, and they deserve a ton of credit you know, they've came a long ways in the last 4 or 5 years, and they have special talent on the team, and they're going to be tough to beat in the finals for sure.
And does a goalie, when the playoffs are over, do you take more responsibility than some other guys, rightly or wrongly, because you're the goaltender?
I believe so. I think that's part of the position. It's part of the job title, I guess, is that you're the last line of defense, and when shit hits the fan, you're the guy to bail that out, and unfortunately, that's part of the job. That's part of why it's fun to be in that position. I love that challenge, and I love to be there for guys when there's mistakes made that you're trying to keep it out of the net as best you can. And like I said, there is a responsibility that goes along with that. That's part of why you play the position.
One last question on Leon. We could tell from the seats that when he was skating straight up the ice, he seemed like he had his speed, but in the corners and stuff like that, you know, he was falling down a lot when he got hit. Could you tell that as a teammate as well? The ankle just obviously wasn't helping.
Yeah, I mean, absolute warrior. You know, to have one of your top players, one of the best players in the league, have an injury as severe as he did, and to play as well as he did and battle through is it's obviously what makes him a, you know, obviously everyone knows the skill level he has, but to be able to compete through an injury as severe as he has is obviously something that is special and deserves a lot of credit for pushing through.
Mike, just over here, I know you haven't had a lot of time to decompress and reflect, but to the best of your ability, can you talk about, since October, the amount of growth you saw from everybody in that room? Because Duncan was here and he talked about having kids around. It felt like it was like a family almost. Of course, on-ice product as well, but did this year just feel different from your other years here in Edmonton?
There's definitely growth. I mean, big time. You know, there was a lot of adversity this year that I think a lot of outsiders had us down and out and not coming back from the dead. But there's a lot of perseverance, you know, through injuries, through the COVID situation, obviously losing 10 straight, to be sitting here today talking about being in the conference finals, losing to one of the best teams in the league, and I mean, a lot of people had us done. So I think to overcome that, and then to get into the playoffs, and to you know, crazy couple rounds, to be down, going on the road in LA, to winning that series in 7, and then obviously beating Calgary, the best team in the West this year. I mean, there was definitely huge steps taken to be a real competitive team for a long time here. And you can't simulate that as a player, as a younger player. You can't, those experiences are priceless, as long as you learn from them the right way. And I think we definitely took a big step this year.
You talked about that. Sorry, Jamie. You talked about that 15-game stretch, and when everybody else kind of didn't believe in you guys, that self-belief never wavered. How far can that take this team years down the road?
Yeah, like I said, it was a huge, I think, turning point in our season. No one ever gave up on each other. Everyone always believed that we had the people that could overcome that adversity. And ultimately, I think we learned a valuable lesson that got us to where we're sitting here today. So, like I said, we came up a little short, but definitely took big steps in the right direction. Disappointed to have it end the way it did, but proud of this team for sure.
One last question, Mike. Does this team need to re-sign Evander Kane for what he brings to the table?
I mean, that's not up to me, but was he leading the league in scoring in the playoffs. It's pretty obvious.
Thank you.
Last one, Mike. It's rare to have a 40-year-old goalie, but it's really rare to have one who was the number one. Like, there's been lots of guys that played a long time, but they all finish as backups, and you're not. You're playing all the games. Can you come back and be that guy?
I have no idea at this point. It's, like I said, it's been a grind for sure. I'm not getting any younger. So I don't know where I'm going to. A lot more difficult this year than in years past. But I don't know at this point. It's too early to tell. Thanks.